The long-awaited Sonic and DC crossover has finally arrived, and it delivers in spectacular fashion. The character interactions are a genuine delight, capturing the essence of both franchises in a way that feels almost surreal, like a fan's dream brought to life. Yet, despite the seemingly unlikely combination, the art and narrative work so harmoniously that the crossover quickly becomes immersive. The story wastes no time in establishing the stakes, and after the initial excitement of seeing these beloved characters share the same panels, the narrative effortlessly convinces you that this is a plausible crossover. It's a testament to the creative team's skill that this premise not only works, but it thrives. So join me today as I break down everything this first issue has to offer and speculate on what surprises might be in store as the story unfolds. The story wastes no time jumping into the action, as Sonic and his friends' peaceful picnic is abruptly interrupted by the ominous arrival of Darkseid, looming above them aboard his colossal mobile satellite, the Ragnarok. The satellite's design, which prominently features Darkseid's own face, is both comical and fitting, an exaggerated display of ego that oddly aligns with the aesthetics of the Sonic universe. In fact, it's a design philosophy reminiscent of Dr. Eggman's signature style, making Darkseid's presence feel surprisingly natural in this crossover. Even Tails has demonstrated a similar tendency, designing his home in the image of his face. As Sonic polishes off his chili dog, the heroes quickly recognize the looming threat. Amy astutely notes that the satellite certainly isn't Little Planet, referencing the celestial body from Sonic's CD that famously appears over Neverlake once a year, which just so happens to be the location where Sonic and his friends were holding their picnic. Sonic rules out Eggman's involvement, as this doesn't really fit his style, a suspicion that's confirmed moments later as Darkseid's infamous parademons swarm from above. As the parademons dive after them, Sonic effortlessly dodges the incoming creatures, clearly annoyed that he can't ever seem to have a moment of peace. While the three of them manage to put up a good fight, the parademons' ranks are just too numerous. Realizing the escalating danger, Sonic, Amy, and Tails make a swift retreat to regroup. Meanwhile, Darkseid's true focus shifts to Angel Island, a destination of far greater interest to the Tyrant. As the Ragnarok closes in, Knuckles is already locked in battle, fiercely defending the Master Emerald from the relentless parademon onslaught. Darkseid's servant Desaad consults the Father Box, a sentient, apocalyptic supercomputer which quickly assesses everything there is to know about Angel Island. The Father Box identifies the Master Emerald as not only the source of keeping Angel Island afloat, but also a powerful countermeasure to Darkseid's ambitions. The Emerald's potential to neutralize the object of Darkseid's pursuit makes its destruction a strategic priority. Despite Desaad's warning that destroying the Master Emerald would significantly drain the Ragnarok's energy reserves, Darkseid remains unfazed. His belief in the limitless power of the Emeralds leaves him undeterred. The narrative here underscores the immense threat posed by the Chaos Emeralds, whose boundless energy could grant Darkseid unprecedented dominance. Down below, Knuckles delivers a crushing blow to an unfortunate parademon, and the remaining invaders abruptly retreat. However, a crimson glow soon ignites the sky above Angel Island. Standing resolute atop the Master Emerald, Knuckles instinctively knows what's coming next. With a defiant cry of "Don't you dare," he braces for the inevitable, fully prepared to lay down his life for the sacred relic he has sworn to protect. This moment encapsulates the essence of Knuckles' unwavering dedication. He's a guardian not just out of obligation, but of honor. Yet, just as the Ragnarok's devastating orbital laser fires, Superman swoops in at the last moment, rescuing Knuckles from a seemingly certain death. However, the victory is short-lived. The Master Emerald shatters under the force of the blast, sending Angel Island plummeting from the sky to the depths of the sea. This catastrophic event immediately establishes the gravity of Darkseid's threat. Unlike Dr. Eggman, whose pride and penchant for theatricality often undermine his ambitions, Darkseid's ruthlessness is absolute. He operates without hesitation or remorse, fully committed to achieving his goals through brute force and calculated destruction. The contrast between Eggman's egotistical desire to prove his intellectual superiority and Darkseid's sheer, unrelenting power is stark, and Sonic and his friends are quickly learning the devastating difference. As the scene shifts to Sunset City, the chaos continues. Amy is filled with dismay as she witnesses the city's descent into turmoil under the Parademon assault. Sonic steels himself for what will undoubtedly be a grueling day, but as he takes off ahead of his friends, a flash of red streaks past him. Enter Wally West, the Flash. The ensuing exchange between Sonic and Wally is a delightful collision of personalities and a standout example of how well the crossover leans into fan service. Mistaking Sonic for Crackle, a speedster composed of radio frequencies who bears a striking resemblance to him, Wally's initial confusion provides a humorous and clever nod to the wider DC universe. It's a playful moment that highlights the ease with which the comic blends these two worlds. What follows is even more exhilarating. Wally, in typical fashion, confidently suggests that Sonic should step aside and let him handle the threat, but Sonic is never one to back down from a challenge. He fires back with a smirk. He tells Wally, "That's adorable, but you can help only if you can keep up." It's the perfect embodiment of Sonic's cocky yet endearing nature. Wally, though, is not one to be outdone. He asserts his title as Speed personified, but it's Sonic's cold line that steals the show, as he boldly declares that he is Speed perfected. This line is a defining testament to Sonic's legacy as a speedster who has continually defied the odds. The following race between the two heroes is nothing short of exhilarating. The artwork captures the pure kinetic energy of their rivalry, emphasizing the mutual respect that emerges through their playful competition. In a single sequence, the comic delivers one of the most memorable cross-franchise interactions, celebrating both characters while maintaining the narrative's momentum. Above the skies of Sunset City, Silver valiantly holds his own, using his psychokinetic abilities to combat the Parademon threat. His efforts do not go unnoticed. John Stewart, the Green Lantern, soars into the fray, intrigued by the young Hedgehog's powers. Recognizing Silver's potential, John suggests that if Silver can group the Parademons together, he can take them down. Their cooperative dynamic quickly takes shape, showcasing the mutual respect forming between them. John's curiosity about Silver's origins leads to a pretty humorous exchange when he asks if Silver is a metahuman or alien, and Silver simply replies, "I'm just a hedgehog," leaving even the seasoned Lantern incredulous. It's a clever, light-hearted moment that balances the tension of the battle while emphasizing Silver's humble nature and the absurdity of this crossover. Meanwhile, in the alleyways below, Parademons terrorize the civilians. Just as despair seems inevitable, Batman and Shadow burst onto the scene, swiftly dispatching one of the monstrous invaders. Unlike the banter-filled camaraderie seen between the other characters, Shadow and Batman's encounter is silent, yet incredibly effective. The two stoic figures exchange a brief glance, silently acknowledging their shared sense of duty. This understated moment of mutual understanding is a testament to the creative team's nuanced grasp of both characters. Neither feels the need to waste time on words when their actions are what speaks volume. Batman and Shadow are driven by purpose and resolve, making their parallelism feel natural and compelling. On the other end of the city, Amy and Tails witness the devastation that has gripped Sunset City. Determined to lend their aid, they scour the ruined streets for those in need, but their path is quickly blocked by one of Darkseid's formidable warriors. The two attack the creature, but it seems like it's going to be a tough fight. However, with the arrival of Wonder Woman and Cyborg, they make quick work of the towering creature. However, their victory is short-lived. Kalibak, Darkseid's ruthless son and second in command, enters the scene. Towering and brimming with strength, Kalibak wastes no time, belittling Wonder Woman and mocking her animal friends. His arrogance, however, only serves to fuel the determination of the heroes. Just as Kalibak prepares to fight, Knuckles emerges from the shadows, his fury evident. Still reeling from the destruction of Angel Island, Knuckles wastes no time in confronting the monstrous foe. With a ferocious punch, the Echidna sends Kalibak crashing to the ground, showcasing the raw power and ferocity of the last Echidna warrior. Yet, Kalibak's resilience is equally impressive. He taunts Knuckles, dismissing his attack as insignificant. But before the monstrous brute can rise, Superman arrives with a thunderous blow, sending Kalibak sprawling and leaving a crater in his wake. The sheer difference in power between Superman and Knuckles becomes glaringly apparent in this moment. While Knuckles' strength is formidable, Superman's effortless takedown underscores his godlike abilities. However, rather than overshadowing Knuckles' bravery, the narrative uses this moment to explore the differences in their approaches. In this moment, Knuckles is fueled by personal loss and the desire for vengeance, lashing out with raw intensity. Superman, in contrast, embodies restraint and compassion, even offering lighthearted reassurances to Knuckles, acknowledging his contribution with genuine respect. This portrayal of Superman is particularly noteworthy. His defining trait isn't merely his immense strength, but his unwavering kindness and empathy. Despite his powers, Superman remains grounded, treating those around him as equals. His exchange with Knuckles highlights this beautifully, a subtle but powerful reminder that Superman's heart is his greatest strength. Additionally, this moment raises intriguing questions about the stakes ahead. The Justice League's presence undoubtedly tilts the balance in the heroes' favor, but with their overwhelming power, the conflict could possibly lose its tension. It leaves one to wonder, will certain circumstances arise that diminish the League's strength, forcing Sonic and his friends to shoulder the burden of victory? By removing the safety net of the Justice League's unmatched power, the narrative could elevate the stakes, pushing Sonic and his allies to grow in ways that they never anticipated. As Amy rushes to Knuckles and Superman, her concern is evident. She anxiously inquires about Angel Island, and Knuckles, still visibly shaken, somberly recounts its destruction. He acknowledges that without Superman's intervention, he would have shared its fate. The weight of this loss lingers, but the brief respite from battle allows for reflection. The other heroes all arrive, and Batman recognizes the need to devise a plan. However, Shadow remains skeptical. While the others seem to accept the presence of these unfamiliar heroes, Shadow's cautious nature prompts him to demand answers. His distrust is consistent with his character, serving as a grounding force within the group. This moment reinforces Shadow's complex persona, a figure shaped by loss and betrayal, unwilling to accept allies without question. Before the tension can escalate, Sonic and the Flash return, boasting about their takedown count. The lighthearted rivalry evokes a dynamic reminiscent of Gimli and Legolas from The Lord of the Rings, with their playful competition providing a brief moment of levity. The banter between Sonic and Flash not only underscores their shared love of speed, but it also highlights their carefree, lighthearted personalities, which in turn makes their rivalry all the more entertaining. With the immediate threat subdued, the comic slows its pace, allowing the characters to engage in their first real exchange. As the Justice League and Sonic's friends stand face to face, the scene carries a weight of curiosity and uncertainty. Sonic wants to get caught up on just what in the world is going on, and takes the opportunity to get a jab in at the Flash. And just as Wally prepares to respond, Superman interjects, cutting through the banter with composed authority. His introduction of the Justice League is met with intrigue, emphasizing the grandeur of the League as protectors from a different universe. Sonic and his friends, on the other hand, present a stark contrast. They're not part of an organized force. They simply live life as it comes, helping those in need without oversight of a formal institution. This clash of ideologies is quite fascinating. The Justice League, with their watchful gaze from the orbiting watchtower, symbolize a structured authority and vigilant protection. While their intentions are noble, the omnipresent oversight can border on intrusive. In contrast, Sonic's team operates with a sense of freedom, responding to threats as they arise without lingering presence or systemic control. The juxtaposition of these approaches encourages readers to ponder the complexities of heroism. Is it better to maintain constant vigilance at the cost of privacy, or to embrace a more reactive, independent approach even if it risks being unprepared? As Sonic finishes introducing his friends, Knuckles, consumed by the loss of Angel Island, demands to know who is responsible and who will pay. His unrelenting resolve is a testament to his fierce loyalty and protective nature. It's in moments like these that Knuckles' character truly shines, driven not by personal gain but by an unwavering commitment to his duty as the island's guardian. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Cyborg and Wonder Woman provide a concise briefing on Darkseid. They explain how the Tyrant has breached their dimension aboard the Ragnarok in pursuit of power beyond the multiverse's normal bounds. Cyborg, using his advanced technological prowess, was able to detect the intrusion and generate a boom tube to intercept. This quick summary effectively establishes the stakes, grounding the fantastical conflict in a coherent narrative that makes sense within the bounds of DC and their limitless multiverses. Silver immediately deduces that Darkseid is after the Chaos Emeralds, a revelation that deeply frustrates Sonic. Time and again, every villainous scheme seems to revolve around these powerful artifacts, and Sonic is growing weary of the cycle by this point. Green Lantern voices his concern that with the Chaos Emeralds, Darkseid could fuel the Ragnarok and obliterate countless worlds. However, Batman perceives an even graver threat. If Darkseid harnesses the Emerald's power, he may no longer need to search for the anti-life equation. He could simply manifest it. Wonder Woman inquires about a method to counteract the Emerald's power. However, Knuckles informs her that the only known countermeasure has already been destroyed. Despite the mounting tension, Superman remains optimistic, rallying the group to pull their strengths and expertise to overcome the looming threat. But Shadow isn't buying it. Teams have never been his style. If something needs to be done, he will do it alone. Superman attempts to reason with him, but Batman, recognizing a kindred spirit, knows a different approach is needed. Upon their first encounter, Batman caught a fleeting expression in Shadow's eyes, one he understands all too well. As Shadow leaves the group, Batman follows, asking who it was. The question stops Shadow in his tracks. Batman presses further, revealing his own burden, the loss of his parents. He recognizes the same unresolved pain in Shadow, the kind that never fades, but instead fuels a relentless mission. After a long pause, Shadow opens up about Maria, the agony of watching her murdered before his eyes, powerless to stop it. Batman acknowledges the weight of that pain, but emphasizes that he vowed to never let it happen again. To protect the world, they need him. After a moment of hesitation, Shadow agrees to rejoin the fight, warning Batman that he had better be worth the trouble. Their exchange is profoundly compelling, illustrating a deep mutual understanding. Both are shaped by their losses, forever haunted by those they couldn't save. Yet, they channel their pain into ensuring no one else suffers the same fate. With time running out, Tails and Cyborg opt to work together. Tails has been developing an Emerald tracking system in his lab, and Cyborg is eager to see it in action. However, Sonic and Silver are less willing to wait. While Tails and Cyborg would be refining their technology, Darkseid and his forces would continue their rampage, gathering emeralds unchecked. Wonder Woman supports their sense of urgency, proposing that they split up to maximize efficiency while maintaining contact through their communicators. Green Lantern suggests partnering up with the local allies to aid their search. With their strategy set, the teams disperse. Tails and Cyborg quickly bond over their shared love of technology. As they exchange ideas, Tails expresses interest in trading specs, mentioning that he's been working on an arm cannon, which may be a reference to the same weapon he uses in Sonic Battle. As Superman soars alongside Knuckles, he shares the story of Krypton, his home world, now long destroyed. Though Superman rarely dwells on his past, he seems to offer this as a form of solace, recognizing that Knuckles, having just lost Angel Island, is grappling with a similar pain. Despite the tragedy, Superman affirms that he cherishes his life on Earth, which makes protecting it all the more important. Knuckles finds himself resonating with the sentiment. His duty as guardian of the Master Emerald has always given him a sense of purpose. Without it, he may have never met his friends. In this moment, he gains a deeper understanding of Superman, and his respect for him grows. Elsewhere, Amy and Wonder Woman take to the skies, with Amy unable to hide a twinge of jealousy. Not only can Wonder Woman fly, but she also has an invisible jet. While their pairing makes sense on the surface, as they are both strong female characters, it feels somewhat forced. Wonder Woman is a somewhat standoffish warrior from Themyscira, often struggling to understand the customs of the outside world, making her a natural counterpart to Knuckles, who, likewise, is a standoffish warrior who finds himself at odds with the modern world. Conversely, Amy's compassion and emotional intelligence would have made her an ideal match for Superman. With that said, the pairings still function well within the narrative. Of course, a panel that everyone will love is Batman and Shadow riding riding their respective motorcycles side by side. Again, they share no words. None are needed, both laser focused on their objective, their mutual understanding conveyed through action rather than dialogue. Meanwhile, Cyborg upgrades Tails' technology, enhancing the young Fox's Emerald tracking system. At the same time, Silver and Green Lantern engage in a conversation about how willpower is akin to mind over matter, thus allowing John to create anything he can think of with the power of his ring. As for Sonic and the Flash, Wally is pretty shocked to learn that Sonic's speed is entirely natural, unlike in the DC universe where speedsters typically gain their abilities through freak accidents or scientific experiments. Their conversation subtly highlights the difference between their worlds. As the issue begins to wrap up, Sonic leads Flash to South Island, believing it to be the best starting point for their search. However, upon their arrival, they realize they are far too late. Darkseid has already claimed the first Chaos Emerald. Without a doubt, Darkseid is the most formidable threat that Sonic and his friends have ever faced, which is a pretty staggering statement considering they have previously battled cosmic entities like Solaris and Dark Gaia. Fortunately, the Justice League's timely arrival via BoomTube has evened the odds. Had Sonic and his team been forced to confront Darkseid alone without the Chaos Emeralds, they would have been hopelessly outmatched. As a multiversal level threat, Darkseid's sheer power is just overwhelming. And now that he possesses a Chaos Emerald, his strength has undoubtedly multiplied. If he were to obtain all 7 and achieve a super form, there would be virtually no way for either the Justice League or Sonic's team to stop him. Which raises an intriguing possibility. What if the heroes are forced to enlist Dr. Eggman's help? The Justice League has, on occasion, allied with Lex Luthor to counter greater threats, and a similar dynamic with Eggman could add an interesting layer to the story. However, there's also the question of where Eggman's true loyalties lie. A panel depicting Metal Sonic battling Batman suggests that Eggman may initially align with Darkseid, yet given his colossal ego, it's hard for me to imagine him willingly serving under anyone, especially a tyrant like Darkseid. Something that I'd really love to see is a showdown between Eggman's Death Egg and Darkseid's Ragnarok. It could be an incredible spectacle for an ultimate battle to drive Darkseid out of this universe. Eggman's technological prowess may prove to be the key factor in this war, making him a potential wildcard in the struggle against Darkseid. So far, this crossover has delivered everything a comic fan could hope for. It seamlessly blends the essence of both the Sonic and DC universes, staying true to their characters and lore while raising the stakes in an exhilarating way. I absolutely love the character pairings in this crossover. They strike the perfect balance between fantastical and believable. Some moments even reveal more character depth than I initially expected. For example, the heartfelt conversation between Knuckles and Superman about the loss of their respective homes is both poignant and endearing. Despite their tragedies, both still find meaning in their lives and their duty to protect Earth. Likewise, Batman recognizing the pain and anger within Shadow felt incredibly fitting. Their shared understanding of loss and how they channel it into their missions was explored in a way that felt both natural and meaningful. Luckily for us, we won't have to wait long for the next issue as it's set to release next month. In the meantime, let me know in the comments which moment you found the most compelling and what you think of this crossover so far. Don't forget to subscribe for more Sonic lore and analysis, and be sure to check out the video linked here. As always, I wish you all the best, take care, peace.